Disappointing, obviously. Uh, I think it was 3 games ago. Somehow Johnny Lewis gets taken down. It's not a red card. Doesn't make any sense to me. Last week, a phantom red card for Moyes. And then this week, Kevin Cabral gets a breakaway with Jansen 10 yards inside of him and Kevin's at top speed. I just don't understand how that's not a red card. But he was pretty happy and theatrical to give Lawless his yellow card, his second yellow card. He seemed really enthusiastic about that. So we definitely feel snake bitten. We have to take our responsibility for our play and the things that we do. Goals change games and referees change games. And this is a, a difficult stretch for us.
Sorry, Tom, Denver Post.
Hi, Robin. Thanks for the time tonight.
Sure, Brendan. Thank you.
We've seen the discipline over the last year or so really be an issue where it can derail the momentum for the squad. What does this team have to do to show more discipline without losing the tenacity that is such a great character trait of really the organization?
I disagree with you about this being a disciplinary issue. You're going to tell me that Moyes' red card last week was a disciplinary issue? I don't think so. I certainly don't think so. Lawless gets a second yellow for tugging on the player, and in the dying moments of the game, player does the exact same thing to Danny Leva, and he doesn't get a yellow card. How is that our disciplinary issue?
Well, I'm just pointing out, I regardless of what, at the end of
regardless of the circumstances, what do we need to do to? I'm just starting the sentence for you so you can finish it.
Sorry, Coach. I guess.
No. I'm Brendan. I'm not being flippant and I'm not trying to be rude. I just disagree that we have a disciplinary issue. I disagree with that completely.
Okay, totally. Well, then yeah, all right. That's all I got. Well, Matt, if you want to go up next.
Thanks to Matt Pollard bringing you wave.
Hi, Robin. Thanks for the time, given the circumstances.
Sure,
this
thanks,
any
Matt.
more fun for us than it is for you, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
You have a difficult situation at halftime and have to make some difficult decisions about personnel and structure. Walk me through the decision behind Kevin being the sacrificial substitute.
Well, we needed to get a wing back on to shore up the back part of the field, and we wanted to have a fast guy up front. And we had to make a choice between Kevin and Johnny, and they've both been in good form, really, really good form. Their work rate has been fantastic. Johnny was pretty threatening as a lone striker against Columbus, and the thought was, like I said, we had to make a decision and went with Johnny there.
Central Opinion Nurse, Denver Sports Magazine.
Hey, Robin. Thanks for the time tonight. You mentioned the Kevin Cabral foul tonight and then the Johnny Lewis one a couple weeks ago and then 2 red cards tonight. Just what does that do to a team mentally, and then how did you try to adjust after the second one tonight?
What does it do to a team? The team feels absolutely hard done every single time they play by the officials. That's how the team feels. They feel like every single time they go out, calls are being made against them. It's a very difficult situation to be in for any players, much as given the situation we're in and the delight that the referees seem to take to hand out red cards. With regard to what we did after the second red card, we knew we needed to get some attack, or tried to get some attack, and to bring on Mikey and Yappy at that point, we knew we were taking a chance with how we may expose ourselves in the back, but we need to take a chance to try to get a goal to tie the game at the very least.
Back to Matt.
Robin, on a lighter note, Moise Bambito, who's unavailable tonight, called up for Canada. How excited is the club for him to get this opportunity in Nations League next week?
Very excited for him. We sure don't want to miss him for any more games going forward. But for him, it's a fantastic, fantastic opportunity that he's earned. Since he's come in, he was very good in the early part of the year in preseason, then got himself an injury, worked extremely hard to come back from the injury. And as you've seen over the last couple of weeks, he's been plugged into a number of different places for us. And wherever he's asked to play, he's been very good. He's had some really, really good moments in whatever position he's been asked to play. And I think with the work that he's done since he's come back from the injury, it makes perfect sense that he's being called in.
Back to Brendan.
Robin, Marco got another start, and we saw his athleticism and shot stopping ability a few times. What have you seen from him to keep the players tactically organized, especially in the last couple of weeks when guys were sent off?
It's hard for me to say what he's doing to keep guys organized. He's pretty far away and you can't really hear much. But what he has done is he's made a number of very, very good saves that have kept us close in games. Unfortunately, a lot of the rest of the game has, in some ways, had become difficult by those moments. But he has been able to produce some really good saves over the last couple of games.
That's it, Braden.
Yeah, Coach, just how nice was it to have Darren back tonight? And then, what improvements has he made since he left for the U20s?
It was definitely good to have him back. Darren obviously played a number of minutes for us before he left. He was in good form. I think going to a World Cup boosts a player's confidence for sure. You get to represent your country. It's always a huge honor, and I do think that you get a lift from that sort of recognition. Just being taken to the Under-20 World Cup, I think, was a huge accomplishment, and to actually play and contribute and do well, I think it's all helped boost his confidence.
What, Pat Radigan?
Hi, Coach.
Hey.
The last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the snake bitten aspect of it and some of those things you can't control. But you guys are now closer to the bottom of the table than you are to the playoff line. So how much of that is the on-field versus how much of it has been being snake bitten with injuries and other things?
I mean, it's all, you can't really distinguish. It's all part of it. And, we talk about being snake bitten. At the end of the day, we know that we have to be better in certain moments, as we talked about, I think last week. Just need to be more precise in both boxes. Definitely the injuries and call-ups and suspensions and all of that have been really difficult to deal with. And the difficult part of that has been that guys have had to play in such a depleted state because they've had to play so many games. And that's where you see guys not be quite as sharp, and maybe that has something to do with some of the things that we've not been as precise in either box as we need to be. So there is no way to really distinguish or quantify how much of this and how much of that has led to it. We are where we are, and we have to dig ourselves out. And we know the challenges that we have to deal with. We have things as a team, as I say, we have to do better, and then there are external things that we have to deal with, and all we really can do is put our heads down and work hard.
Hi, Robin.
Nice.
11 more days until the next game after a very busy May and a very busy stretch of games. What's kind of the message just for recuperation within the team to get back on the front foot at home against Vancouver on the 21st?
Yeah, we just addressed that exact point, which is we have a little bit of a break now after a really busy last 5 weeks, I think 5-6 weeks. So guys will have a few days off, get away, clear their heads. This is the sort of thing that is definitely all-encompassing when you're in these moments, and I think it'll be beneficial for guys to get away for a couple of days, and then once we get back together next week, then it's one mission on one mission only, which is we have to take care of our home games, starting with Vancouver.